Welcome back to Good Day Big Bear. Thanks for staying tuned. I'm John Wells.
I'm Dan Bathurst.
And this
is Allison Banner.
We're going to jump right in there, yeah?
John.
We're going to put you to
throw that.
the desk on a
throw that at you, simply.
But today we've got Allison with us, and she's with Allstate Insurance over in Arrowhead, but you cover
The whole
more
mountain.
than just the whole mountaintop.
Correct. Our office is actually in San Bernardino, but I'm born and raised on the mountain. I had my own agency in Lake Arrowhead for 10 years, and we're taking care of people on the mountain, even through the moratoriums that other companies are having at the moment.
You know, that's a big statement.
It is
We
big.
have, you know, one of the things that we've shifted to real estate.
Oh, by the way.
This
is our real estate segment.
Just kind of a toss that in there. One of the things that seems to kind of fall through the cracks in a lot of real estate transactions, you get right down to the last week ready to close and people go, okay, so you've got your insurance binder, you're all set. No. And people go scrambling for insurance for their new home.
That they do, and they think their current insurance company can take care of them, but in areas like this, sometimes it's difficult. But there's companies that specialize in mountainous areas, and I am very fortunate to have access to one of those companies, and I actually have another company I can use as a fallback.
Okay.
So right now we are writing business.
That's good.
Yes.
Good to hear. Right now, I love that little disclaimer there. For the moment.
Well, you know, every time we have a fire, insurance companies get a little nervous.
That they do.
And I guess rightfully so, because the whole idea is take in money, not pay it out.
Well, they are there to do business,
That's
right?
what they do.
That's what they do to insure a home. So there are a number of qualifications and things that the home has to meet, not necessarily you as an individual, but that the home. Can you kind of just real quickly cover what some of those things are up here?
Sure. Well, in terms of coverage or certain specific qualities?
Yes, both. Yeah.
Well, you want to make sure you have replacement value, building code upgrades, and especially additional living expenses. That's going to take care of you if anything does happen to your home, and it's going to take care of you if you get evacuated. If you're a renter, make sure you get renter's insurance. It protects your belongings and gives you those additional living expenses.
So it protects you if you're evacuated?
It does. It'll pay for your hotel expenses, and if you're living with your loved ones during those times, it could even compensate you for them having to put up with you.
Wow, that could be a huge number.
It could be. There's no price that can be put on that one.
No comments? No comments?
My only comment is going to be that shortly after we had our last big fire, not this one, but the one prior, the old fire.
Old fire.
It was quite amazing how many people were canceled for making a claim. And not through your company, but through several companies, and I don't know if your company did it as well, but it was pretty bad. It really beat us all up. And then trying to find somebody to write again was impossible.
Challenge, yes.
I don't know if it was necessarily the claim that actually triggered the cancellation, or just the fact the company was non-renewing policies anyway. Because I don't think they can just cancel you just because you make one claim, especially during a catastrophic event.
But if they
Can I give you the scenario on how that worked?
You may.
Since I was one of those victims.
What? We'll have to investigate this.
And I'm not going to mention the company or anything else.
Oh, come on.
But the bottom Allied. What was my hesitation? Actually, what they did was they sent an inspector up after the fire, after the claim. And the claim was just for the housing. That we were off the mountain and we needed to be reimbursed, and we weren't really looking for that. It was just they said we could, so we filed the claim for it. And then they brought up an inspector, and they said that my neighbor's weeds hadn't been cut back. And then they said we had a vicious dog who, which is far more, but when a stranger comes down your driveway and then sticks his camera in your window and your dog's going, you know, that's the vicious dog. So then that's why they canceled this. They came and made up all these things to say we weren't compliant, so we're done.
So it wasn't necessarily the fact you filed the claim, it's just the claim triggered it. It triggered the inspection.
Right. But they did that almost to everybody in my neighborhood.
Wow.
And after that, it was more and more, you heard, after we started looking into it, there were not just that one company, but several companies that pulled the same thing. All of a sudden, you were due for an inspection.
Well, then I'll take care of you.
Okay, well,
There you go.
we'll see how that works. That wasn't my answer I was looking for.
Oh, I don't know.
But I mean, I understand.
can make you whole then.
But this is what, a few years later, so everybody's willing to take care of me now.
Yeah.
Well, because insurance is a shared risk pool for those
Right.
of you that aren't licensed in insurance. And when you live in a high risk area, you either have a harder time getting it, or your premiums are more than they are down the hill, and that seems to be a big surprise to a lot of folks when they've got their homeowner insurance in the desert or whatever, and all of a sudden they try to get their insurance up here, and they've got to jump through a few hoops to make it happen.
Right.
That they do. It's not as easy as people would think it is, or as easy as they would hope it would be. Because
It's not like adding another car.
right. So, or a teenager.
That's a crucial one there.
With the homeowners insurance in high risk areas, they do want to make sure trees are trimmed away from your roof line. They want to make sure that your house is as risk free from liability and hazardous conditions as it can be. So companies that do insure, they are going to be a little picky about things, but you just have to go with the flow. They give you time to make those corrections after you bind coverage. But if you have a company that's willing to take care of you, do what you can to keep them.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the big lesson today, at least.
Everybody
is
learned that.
Don't let your insurance payments lapse.
Exactly.
Because they may not renew.
And a lot of people are going through rate increases right now too, so the best way to combat that is either to shop, but it's not that cheap anymore for insurance. But my best advice is increase your homeowner deductible if you can afford those deductibles at the time of a loss.
Yes, so many folks go, oh gosh, I want my deductible as low as possible, but that raises your premiums
really
dramatically, doesn't it?
It really does.
You were sharing with me about a $250 deductible?
Yes, I had a client calling me because she was so upset with the rates going up, and I asked her what her deductible was, and it was only $250, and I said, well, I think you need to just stay with your current company and increase that deductible. And she was able to save quite a bit of money from doing that. And another important thing is make sure you meet with your insurance agent at least once or twice, every few years, just to make sure you do have the right coverages, your policy's up to date with any upgrades you've done to your home. Make sure your valuables are covered, the things that are important to you. And a lot of things that you can do to save money on your policy, it only nickel and dimes it. So just make sure you've got the coverage you need.
Well, because by raising your deductible, you're telling the insurance company, I'm not going to come after you for every piddling little thing.
I'm not going to use you to maintain my property.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Right.
Very interesting.
If they, just out of curiosity, sorry.
No.
Is there a time after a year or 2 years with the same company that, just for peace of mind, that you might, because people get complacent and they just roll over and roll over and roll over, and things seem to creep up a little bit. Is there a suggested time to double check your own policy and your agency that you're dealing with to make sure that you're compliant? I mean, not really compliant, but
So you wanna
competitive
shop it.
with everybody
Yeah.
else. Is there, because we do the same thing every year. We just re-sign
Right.
and keep rolling over and rolling over. Oh, what's this? And the surprise attack and the whole thing.
Right.
Is there a way to check
Sure.
and make sure that you are at least in a competitive mode with everybody else that's out there, rather than just going, sure, where do I sign?
Well, number one, you get a renewal notice every year that goes over all your coverages and premiums, so make sure you review that. Make sure you're getting all the discounts you qualify for. A lot of people, I'm hearing this more and more, people don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. Like they want to have their auto in one place, their home in another, boats, whatever. But if you combine it all, that's a really great way to save money, and then it's a one-stop shop.
Well,
basically.
isn't that a big deal on the mountain? In other words, there are agencies out there that won't write you unless they get everything. I mean, they're writing fire insurance, but they're not going to give you that policy unless
This
they've
is
got
kind of
your
a
car,
sore
your
point,
house,
isn't
your...
it?
Pardon me?
This is kind of a sore point with you. And
It irritates me beyond
button,
belief.
yeah.
I don't like being backed into a corner here, you know?
We need a special edition on Ken's sore points.
That's right.
All right, well, calm down.
No,
Forget it.
it's all right. It's all right. just so you have a little passion on this topic. I wasn't aware
I've been
of
in
that.
the insurance business for a long time. I've been dealing with insurance all my life, and
I think we all have.
I have a little frustration with some of the ways that things are manipulated, and maybe that's a little bit of my background from the car business too. You know, because I've watched it
Manipulation?
happen. Absolutely, and because that's what I specialized in. But it's hard to take people from no, get away, I don't want anything, to sign here for that $70,000 car in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So come on. So.
Well,
Anyway,
now, where were
what
we?
We were talking about having an independent agent to review your product. At what time? When's a good time to make that phone call?
At your renewal. When you've got your renewal paperwork in front of you, you know what your upcoming policy is going to be like. There's changes that need to be made. That's a great time to review it.
And are you better off to have all of your policies under one roof or not? And also, along with that, if you can cover what's AM Best mean? You see that with everybody. I know what it is, but maybe that's how you could tell what kind of company.
What was that again?
AM Best. You know what an AM Best rating is?
No, but somebody's going to tell me, I'm sure.
Is it going to be me or is it going to be you?
It's going to be you.
The AM Best rating, that's the financial rating that insurance companies have to show their financial stability. So the higher the rating, which would be A is the highest, that you want to deal with A-rated or better.
They have the ability to pay.
A-rated or better.
Well, there's
Yes.
A plus,
being
A
the
plus
best.
plus.
Oh, okay.
There's
Back to
pluses
school.
on
I'm
there.
trying- I didn't do well in
It's
school,
like a
so okay.
4.0 and then you get 4.5. You
I
know?
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit better. So an AM Best
Stretch.
rating is an independent rating company that rates all the companies on what's their financial background, because that's really what you want to know.
It's amazing what you learn on this show, isn't it? I feel so much smarter.
There you go. So all in one company or spread it out?
It depends on what meets your needs. For instance, the company that I use, we don't require having all your insurance to do your vacation home. So you can still keep all your other insurance where it needs to be, and then we'll take care of your vacation home so you don't have to, bring everything over. I mean, I wouldn't mind if you did, but you don't have to.
Now, you said we don't. So there are companies that do that.
Yeah.
They require you to have everything under
They
them or
do.
not at all.
Some companies...
Oh, I get pissed about that. too.
Travelers
Well,
is the
some
one
companies-
that does that a lot. So just to tell you who it is, one of them.
Well, some companies, you have to do a vacation
Well, I've got to
home.
refer to something.
To do your vacation home, they require your primary home, but a lot of times that's because your liability from the primary home extends to the secondary residence. And then a company I deal with, to do your full-time rental property, we require your Allstate auto. So different companies have different requirements, and it's just a matter of, one, if you want to do it the way that those companies offer it, or you could try to find other options too.
So again, like we say every single week, get a professional.
Every week.
We do. Well,
Drive yourself crazy.
It's not only
Drive your professionals crazy,
about
too.
real estate. People that try to do things by themselves.
Right.
It's very difficult to have if you don't have somebody that knows the industry
And what's
to give you
important-
some ins and outs.
Right, and what's really important is to deal with people in the area too. Deal with your local people.
We say that every week.
Exactly.
Deal with
Well, I
locals.
have
Maybe twice a
clients,
week.
I have people calling me desperate because even though I'm the same general company as what they already have their insurance with, their agent doesn't really know that much about the product that we use because they don't deal with these areas. But this is all I know.
Right.
So even though they have Allstate insurance, their agent may not know about the product that we use. So I'll take care of them, and it's, but I know the
Kind
area.
of like why
I
we
know the
say
products.
don't use an agent down the hill to buy a house
Exactly.
on the hill.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't
Yeah.
know the water and fire and just all the issues, and all the things that you need to know for the, for unique areas.
We got to go to commercial here in a minute, but real quickly, you talked about sending out an inspector. Do they have local inspectors as well? Because like
They
we do in
use-
real estate?
No, unless the inspector happens to live in these areas. They have an outside inspection company that they contract with. So they come
Can you
from,
argue with that?
Now, is that an audit
I've
or
tried.
is it?
I have tried.
But I mean, as a consumer, you don't have a.
Oh, no. And it's, they're just, they said,
Sorry.
they send the inspector out, he has his report, he takes his pictures, and then all that goes back to the underwriters who evaluate it. And then from that point, I get the report with all their recommendations, and then it's up to me to say, hey, you guys don't know the area. These things are, I just have
Your
to.
usual and customary. Everybody here has trees.
Exactly. And it depends on the angles the
But you have
pictures
too
are
many.
taken too. Sometimes you have the inspector standing here with the tree and then the house, and they say that, oh, the tree's touching the house. It's like, no, but if you stood on that side and took the picture, it isn't. So I do a lot of
10 feet
arguing
away
on
from
the
the
back
fireplace
side.
and all that kind of
So,
stuff.
I do a
Again,
lot
good-
of arguing on the back side between the clients and underwriters too.
Again, good reason to have a local. Have somebody
Absolutely.
up here. Well, if somebody wanted to talk to you, how would they get in touch with you?
You would call us at 909-890-3559. That is 890-3559.
Yeah, I only had to tell her once.
And you
Give
can
the
ask
phone
for
a good
Sean or Allison. Sean's the agency owner, and between the two of us, we're taking care of almost every single person that calls in.
All right.
We have
Very
a product
good.
for almost everybody.
Very good. And you are writing now.
We are writing now.
Even though some insurance companies have a moratorium, I guess you'd call it, until the fire, quote, is 100% contained.
Correct. They won't bind coverage till it's 100% contained, but we're writing.
No? Very
Yeah,
good.
we're writing.
Very good. One more
So-
time, the phone
So if you
number.
call within the next 10 minutes,
909-890-3559.
We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.